Yo everybody, welcome back to Chronic Lore. So this time I thought I would do something a bit different since I am going to be mostly focusing on anime, but of course doing films and TV as well. I thought that I would give you an idea of what helped shape my taste, and this time of course we're focusing on anime. Now when I was younger, I had no idea what anime was. I thought that anything animated was a cartoon. And I suppose the same goes for a lot of us when we were younger. I mean, it is all just shapes, man. Shapes and colours. I do, however, remember seeing Pokemon for the first time. I was about 5 years old and I was watching cartoons before school, and this new show started up with this totally rad theme song about how we gotta catch 'em all. A boy called Ash Ketchum get it, got his first Pokemon and started out on his adventure, and I was hooked. I'd never seen anything like it, and I had to tell everybody in school. Now some of my friends had seen it too, and they were just as taken by it as I was, and so the Pokemon phenomenon swept through my school and town. Honestly, I don't really think we've ever seen anything like Pokemon again with anime. It's such a cultural icon with both the TV show and the games and the movies, and it helped really pave the way for a lot of Japanese anime to make their way over. And through it, I actually learned that anime was its own separate thing from cartoons. And in many ways, Pokemon helped shape my taste in anime and shows in general. To this day, I love a good adventure story and tournament arcs. Although, who doesn't love a good tournament arc? Or show for that matter. I'm looking at you, Haikyuu. And it helped introduce me to different anime like Digimon. There was a massive debate in our school as to whether Pokemon or Digimon was better. Personally, I fell into the Digital Monsters camp. Its more complex set of rules and characters really spoke to the obvious understanding of story construction and character progression I had when I was like 6 years old. I was way ahead of my time, clearly. But these early exposures to anime really helped me to develop an appreciation for the art form that lingered throughout the years. Even when I moved on from Pokemon and Digimon when they became uncool. And boy did they become uncool. I wouldn't seriously watch anything anime related until secondary school, or high school for y'all Americans, when one day I was mooching about and looking for some DVD to buy to keep me entertained during the summer holidays. This was before the days of Blu-ray and streaming. I came across one called Naruto. I'd seen some AMVs of some fights from this show on YouTube and I thought, might be worth a watch. And so began the obsession. I couldn't get enough of this show after watching the first season. Team 7's struggles against Zabuza had me hooked. The art style, the violence, and the music were all so fresh and new to me. It was like watching that first episode of Pokemon all over again. I had to watch the rest of the show that summer, and I binged as many of the seasons as I could. I loved how these characters struggled against the odds, the villains that got way more development and backstory than I was used to, and the budding friendship / rivalry between Naruto and Sasuke. The more I watched and rewatched the show, the more I grew to love this world and these characters, and felt that they were growing with me. I continued to watch and read Naruto right through school and university, and I was genuinely sad when the manga ended. Although I still had the anime, which ended a good bit after, especially with all that filler. Oh, the filler. Of course, Naruto wasn't the only anime I watched during this period. One of my friends who was also into anime introduced me to Death Note, an entirely different type of show from Naruto. Death Note is one of those shows you can recommend to your friend, even if they're not fond of or have never watched anime before. You know, if you hang out with those kinds of people. So I've spoken before about how much I love this show, and how you can get so much from it with its themes of power, religion, and the absolutely entertaining cast of characters. Mostly. So I'd been introduced to the great action and character growth of Naruto, but Death Note made me realise how grown-up anime could feel, as well as it just encouraged me to seek out even more media in this style. So while Pokemon was my childhood anime and Naruto had helped me recapture that feeling, Death Note was like the gateway anime for me. For Christmas one year, amongst my many, many presents, I also got the Matrix box set because the first one is one of my favourite movies of all time, and in that box set was the Animatrix. So I didn't really know what to expect when I sat down to watch the Animatrix, but I was blown away by the creativity on show and came to realise how heavily inspired the main films were by anime. Now, not all the animated shorts are hits, some are just okay, but I really was in awe of just how versatile the medium could be. With the same subject matter, we had a robot uprising, a samurai rooftop fight, and a really chilled out short about a girl looking for a lost cat. Doesn't sound exciting, but I thought it was amazing. I just thought it was so cool, and it really made me pay attention to more things like this. And I can say I probably wouldn't have watched films like The Girl Who Leapt Through Time or Your Name if I hadn't watched The Animatrix first. I'd never really paid attention to the animation of anime before The Animatrix. That was a lot of anis. But after watching The Animatrix, I couldn't get enough of that sweet, sweet Sakuga. Now, a show I actually saw a bit before watching Naruto was Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, I know, Avatar isn't anime, but come on, it kind of is. From the art style, to the action, to the philosophy rooted in Eastern practices, if it's not anime, it's certainly inspired by it. As I said, I saw a bit of the show before discovering Naruto and thought, that's kinda cool, but I just sort of forgot about it until I watched the entire series years later. And pardon my language, but damn! This is a good show. Naruto may be my favourite, although I can acknowledge Avatar is probably the better show overall. It's amazing how nuanced these characters can be, and how much development can be given in just 20 minutes. I mean, look at the episode The Storm. Masterful storytelling. A lot of Western and live action shows really could learn a lot from Avatar. I love how the kids act like kids that have been thrust into a perilous situation and have to grow up. I love the philosophy of the bending arts and how each culture grew around its particular element. And I love this guy. Zuko has to be one of the best written characters, not just in animation, but in all of media. If Avatar was great, Zuko made it fantastic. And I do plan to do a video about Zuko at a later date. And again, I know it's not technically anime, but Avatar might as well be, as it embodies all of the best things about the medium. And in a show that almost disguised itself as a cartoon. So that was a quick overview of my journey from being oblivious about anime to it being a major influence in my life and shaping my taste in media. I think it's great how our culture is now becoming more aware of this art form, with films like Ghost in the Shell and Alita Battle Angel being greenlit. Yes, they're divisive, but perhaps they can help pave the way for more anime films to be made, just as Pokemon helped introduce many of us to the medium. There are so many more shows that I could have talked about, but these were just the ones that stood out to me as having the biggest impact in forming my taste. And I'm sure I'll talk about the rest of them in the future, because our tastes are ever evolving. I didn't watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood until later on, when everybody else had watched it, and again, my mind was blown. As well as Hunter x Hunter, one of my favourite shows ever. I can't wait to talk about Hunter x Hunter as well, so I've got a few videos that are planned around Hunter x Hunter, so do stay tuned for that. And if you did like the video, would you kindly like, comment, and destroy that subscribe button? And let me know what anime had the biggest impact on you growing up. Start a conversation in the comments. And until next time, this is Joe with Chronic Lore.